Okay, back at it after a quick break. Best practice, put everything back where you found it and the way you found it. So there's the battery bracket back in. The battery's going to have to remain out. Next piece I want to do is going to be the cowling here. And it has one bolt over here. It's actually broken, so I'm just going to leave that in place. And it has two more on this side. So we're going to pull those off. And then we can pull off the entire air intake. That's going to come out. This cowling is going to have to come out as well, so I'm going to try to figure out a good position to put the camera while I'm doing this. Okay, as I said, I don't have a tripod, so this is probably the best place that I can put it for now. That piece just pulls right out. I'll stick that over here to the side. You're going to be about a 9mm or a 10. Start off with a 10. Okay, this is actually loose enough to be able to take off with the fingers. But those are the 10mm. Put the tool back. And I dropped that one. Alright, and that whole piece comes off. Set that aside, put the bolts back where you found them. That way you won't lose them. It also says you have the right one for the right socket. Sometimes these are not threaded well, or the threads have been damaged or rusted or whatever. Okay, and the nut that I dropped is down there invisible somewhere. I don't see it, I can't find it, and my eyes just can't focus like that anymore. So, we'll find it eventually here. I'm going to start pulling all of this stuff off, so I'm going to put the camera over here where we can, and go to work. A lot of these hoses can pull right off. Some of them have clamps, some do not. The ones with clamps, there is a clamp tool that you can use to pull them off depending on the type of clamp. Some of them are banded screw clamps, and those are easy enough to take off with a flat-headed screwdriver, also known as a slot screwdriver. The other type of screwdriver is a Phillips, and that looks like a cross or a star. There are Torx heads, which are actual 6-pointed stars or 8-pointed stars. And there's a couple of other types that we'll get into here in a bit. But whenever you take a piece off, you want to be able to put it somewhere where you don't lose it. And so these hoses I'm going to put in the cab. We'll see where they go back on later. Yeah, I hope the video got that part where I'm taking this off. This just unlatches this way. It goes around this piece. Inside of here is the air filter. So whenever you have to change the air filter, this is what you're doing. Pulling that off, you're going to have to pull off the wire for this. And the air filter is actually inside of there. So there's a wire underneath here with a sensor on it, and that's going to be the airflow sensor. So to be able to replace the air filter, you're going to have to be able to get to it. To do that, you're going to have to move some of this stuff out of the way, like so. And then this whole piece will just pull right off. Like that. And that is your new air filter that I put in. So this is also going in the cab. Okay, following the pieces up, this entire tube ideally should stay in one section. So I'm going to have to remove that banding clamp and this wire under here. It's actually not a really good spot to see that. Hopefully I can balance this camera phone well enough to be able to see that without it knocking off. Okay, to get that wire out, I had to pull this out. So there's the wire that needs to come off. It's just a very bad angle there. I'm going to hope and pray that this one is going to work well. Now, there, I'm cheating to hold the camera phone up. Alright. It has a little latch that you have to push in that comes out from under here, and the entire cable slides out. And that's what needed to be pushed in. Alright, back to it. Flathead screwdriver will do fine on this. You can also use a socket if you wish. That's what it's designed for. Just enough to loosen it up. And that whole piece comes right off. And there's that. So what we're seeing on the top is the intake manifold. That's that big aluminum piece. Okay. Oh, by the way, TireMate's a pretty good stand if you don't have anything to stand on. Okay, next piece is to come off. We can keep working on the top, or we can go underneath and start working on the hoses and the fluids. Let's go do that. Okay, this is the crate engine that was delivered to replace the one that we're pulling out. And what I'm going to do is drag this one as best I can, just about 6 feet, over to where the cherry picker, the hoist, will be able to grab a hold of it and lift it up. I also need to get it out of the way so that I can back my truck out here tonight. Okay, so there's just no other better way to do it but to grab the chain and start hauling. So I'm going to put the phone down. And here we go. The thing that hurts is the hands. That made it easier. When you're hauling something like that, safety Nazis, I know you're going to yell at me, but lift with your legs, not with your back.